Hey guys, looks like I'm going live with this video. I actually meant to just record it, but here we have a really interesting exhibit that I really appreciate. It says God's word has triumphed against every attack, and so it's talking about a lot of criticisms people have leveled against the Bible and how we've come and gone, and really how silly a lot of these things have been. Like one that I really my favorite they have on here personally is right here talking about the Hittite people. Um, the Hittites were historically regarded as being mythical. Skeptics said, "Oh well, you stupid Christians believe the Bible, but it talks about the Hittites, but there's no historical evidence for Hittites." Since that time, we've discovered, from my understanding, multiple Hittite cities. So people wanted to dismiss the Bible, saying, well, we don't have evidence for this, but that was really an argument from ignorance. It was an argument saying, hey, well, we don't have this evidence. But archaeology was really very young at the time, too, so um, it really does show kind of the foolishness of what these skeptics are trying to put forward. And so, keep going. We have a thing here about an exhibit about the canon itself. I believe this is a replica of an old school printing press. Um, I'm willing to bet this was probably a replica of the original printing press, but I'm looking around here to try to figure out if this is a if this is actually a Gutenberg. Oh, looks like it was. Looks like it is. And here we have a Inherit the Wind. Most Western nations thought of themselves as Christian nations. William Jennings Bryan, a leading American politician. I actually think we have that video on my channel. Um, so basically, a lot of people watch the movie Inherit the Wind, and they assume that this is based on actual history. They're told, oh well, this is what happened during the Scopes trial. It's complete gross misrepresentation, as any historian will tell you. They don't have to be. You don't have to take my word for it as a Christian. You can go look at the facts for yourself. Um, for one thing, John Scopes he wasn't a science teacher. He was a math teacher and a coach. He never taught evolution. He never. It's so crazy. And also, the law wasn't against teaching evolution per se. It was against teaching the idea that humans had evolved from lower animals. And the textbook that the ACLU wanted to put in public schools declared that Caucasians were the highest race. So a lot of what you saw with evolutionary propaganda from the early 20th century, and really since the time of Darwin, was very racist in its ideology. Um, and I've talked about that in previous videos, like how Darwin himself was essentially a white supremacist. That doesn't mean that he hated black people, he just thought that white people were superior to black people. Um, but the Bible has always taught that human beings are all one blood, that we're all one race. And these days, that's what's politically correct. And liberals will try to appropriate Christian history. They'll try to pretend like they're carrying the torch of the abolitionists and of the people who wanted to get rid of Jim Crow. But when you look at the actual facts of history, it was the secularists who were trying to push the racism, and it was Christian evangelicals who were saying, hey, all men are created equal. Oh. Now we have there's an article about a man named Templeton who he was very famous, kind of along the lines of Billy Graham, and I think they were actually friends with one another. But he looked around at the world and he said he had the Christian faith, and he wasn't being given answers. And eventually he ended up rejecting the Christian faith, and since then, I believe he has passed away. But anyway, I'm going to pause the video. Oh, actually, it's live, so I don't have to really pause it. Here we have a world rejecting God. Actually feels really creepy in here, so they're doing a good job. Like, I feel like I'm actually in a sketchy alleyway. I'm gonna try not to touch it because I know it looks worn down for a reason. There's something about an enhanced floor. I wonder what that is. But today, man, decides whatever. That is the one area where I'll kind of disagree because I think objective truth is available to us. You can't just presuppose evidence away the way the atheist tries to do it.
Oh my God, really? What's wrong with Helga?
Wow.
Yeah, I feel sick. I feel sick because I feel like I'm pregnant. I mean, I need your help, okay? I gotta go.
This part here is really important. You know, only 1 in 3 teenagers say they're actually going to stay in church, and only 1 in 3 actually do. There's a whole statistics about that. They're published in the book Already Gone. So. Welcome to the time tunnel. Alright, so I'll see what happens. I'm live, so